and we will come back with you. What you got going on in entertainment?
Quite a bit.
It's the Jackie O Entertainment Report on pushgapradios.com.
Yeah. Well, speaking of New York.
Yeah.
Right before Thanksgiving, or actually on Thanksgiving Day, an act called the Adult Survivors Act.
Yes.
Which was put in place in 2022, and it had a 1-year timeline. Mm-hmm. And so it was about to expire. Well, upon getting
explain
close,
to them what the Adult Survivors Act is. A lot of people don't know.
It was passed by New York lawmakers in the wake of the Me Too movement, mm-hmm. and it took effect November 24, 2022, mm-hmm. and then again it expired on Thursday. So what people could do, or women, well, a majority of them were women anyway, mm-hmm. What they could do is, no matter how old their cases were, if they were sexually abused or harassed or any of that, they could file a lawsuit against their accused.
Civil, not criminal.
Yeah. So they could file a lawsuit against the person that allegedly assaulted mm-hmm. them. And so as a result of this deadline coming up, over 2,500 lawsuits were filed. Mm-hmm. And
they got Steele Bill again.
Yeah.
Got Bill Cosby again. Come on, man. When does it all end? Back there in the 60s and 70s, man, y'all was back there doing that good dope. Sex was off the chain. Remember Studio 54? Those of you of a certain age. It was off the chain back then. Free sex, free love, all that. All of them was doing the dope. And again, if Bill Cosby was molesting you or raping you, as you say, why was you still coming back over his house? The one lady who sued him not only came back to his house, brought her mama. But he doing all this stuff to you 40, 50 damn years later. It's sad.
So some of the accused are Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City.
Yeah, they want Eric out of there.
He had a $5 million lawsuit filed against him mm-hmm. on November 22nd.
You think he did?
Of course he did. You have Andrew Cuomo, the former New York governor.
Oh, they had got him at one time before, back in the day when they had first kicked that stuff off.
Cassie kicked it all off, but in addition to Cassie, there have been 2 other lawsuits that were filed against Sean Diddy Combs.
Mm-hmm. P. Diddy should have a ton of.
Axl Rose, he was accused from a sexual assault that he did or allegedly did back in 1989. So that one was really going back in time.
Yeah.
And then also you have Donald Trump. Of course. He actually kicked it all off. His accuser have already been paid off.
She Stormy was paid, Daniels.
Her name was E.F. Jean Carroll, and she was paid $5 million.
I remember Trump told the one chick she was too ugly for him to be accosting.
Some of the other people were Sean Diddy Combs, his former bad boy president, Hervé Pear, Jamie Foxx, Russell Brand, Interscope Records co-founder Jimmy Iovine, music executive L.A. Reid, Cuba Gooding Jr., which I am not surprised about Cuba Gooding Jr.
They show video of him.
This little man right here, he actually have a sexual addiction problem or something, because he just can never keep his hand or his wee-wee to himself. But Terry Richardson has been accused by 2 women under the act, and he's a photographer.
Now, who is this?
His name is Terry Richardson. He's a famed photographer. Okay. So he was getting his freaky deaky on too, apparently. I'm surprised.
Grab him in the biscuit.
I'm surprised Russell Simmons is not somewhere at the top of his line.
Russell's still hiding
over there in Dubai. He probably done really went undercover now. He out there in the desert somewhere with the camels by now.
Russell probably over there got on a whole burqa hide now. He gonna know it's him.
He heard this was coming out, honey. I guarantee you, he probably got 102 of them filed against him.
But I do understand. that if something was done to you, molested or whatever. But at what point does the statute of limitations kick in?
That's just
And if this was all done to you, why didn't you report it when it was done? 40, 50, 60 years later, who's able to prove what you said was done to you? Who can prove that? Most of the people are dead.
Okay, here we go. Back before all of this Me Too stuff and all of that, people were not listened to. Who would believe somebody that's coming up saying, "Oh, Bill Cosby molested me"? Who's gonna care? Who's gonna give me any time of day because Bill Cosby was who he was back then?
It was different.
So it's different times.
But if you couldn't prove it then, how you gonna prove it today?
They don't have to approve it. That was the whole thing for this law being in effect for 1 year. It did away with the statute of limitations, and it gave these women the opportunity within this 1 year window to come forward with their truth. Now, with the one that you were talking about that filed against Bill Cosby, that was from back in the 1980s. She was a stand-in on the Cosby Show when she says that she was assaulted.
That video you showed me, that's what I said about Trump. Cosby said she too ugly for him to molest her. Everybody molested that ugly white woman.
But that was back in the 80s. Everybody changes. Some people age better than others. And she apparently didn't age very well. But regardless of that,
pretty in the cradle, ugly at the table.
But from the way that they were talking about Bill slinging his little wee around behind stage, one of the actors that was a child actor at the time on the Cosby Show said that it was so prevalent that he thought everybody knew about it, including Bill's wife, because that's how open he was with the things that he was doing.
But if it was going on like that, Bill being a black man, not setting precedents, then he's seen it all over the place as well. And how many, as we discussed, were groupies who wanted to be around, who would do any and everything to get backstage with Bill Cosby or whoever else was a big celebrity back at the time. They would do anything to get back there and rub shoulders and bump elbows with these damn people.
And
now here it comes that you toe the dough down and hit the bouncer in the head, the bodyguard in the head with a lead pipe to get back here. Now he molested you. Yeah.
So the men should have made smarter choices. They were the ones.
It was the days of that good dope.
They were the ones, and they are the ones that have the most to lose, and now they're losing it.
Well,
so
back then they weren't.
They should have They should have thought with their heads on top of their shoulders and not the one below their shoulders.
Well, maybe some of them chicks was back there grabbing them in their Joe Louis too.
So for these young ones out there now, make smarter choices and decisions. Look at what's happening to these old ones now from 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Exactly.
Watch yourself. Keep yourself zipped up.
Yeah, well, back then it was a totally different era. Them chicks was dying to get just like today. You don't think? Of course. You don't think they would have done any and everything to get backstage with Elvis Presley?
It's by design.
Cosby or a producer like Harry Weinstein.
Of course they did.
There and they was here's the guy that's going to give you the opportunity to live your dream.
You got a lot of them.
You got to pay for it. You got to give something to get something. Okay,
and they
called
do.
it the casting couch. Now, you could say no and walk away, but how bad did you want that role in that movie? How bad did you want the life of celebrity? Hollywood is wicked. I don't know if they knew back then that Hollywood was as wicked as we know it is today, but I'm quite sure you did. Hollywood's been around a long time.
Well, and it needed to not be that way. So it's a good thing that, better late than never. If they were that nasty and they were that dirty, they should pay for it.
True, though?
Nope. All of them are not. But again, that goes back to they should have made smarter decisions with their wee-wees.
Yeah.
So.
With your tallywhacker. Your Joe Louis.
Everything that's cute is not worth it.
Okay. Well, Russell Simmons still in hiding. Okay.
Oh, he ain't gonna never come out of hiding now. You can forget that. He wasn't coming back to begin with, but he really not coming back now.
Because Russell was big on them models, man.
Yes,
Love them models, boy.
Young ones. Young. Because Kimura was she was seriously a
That
minor.
was all of them. You got to look at Jerry Lee Lewis, married his cousin Elvis Presley's pervert ass. How old was Priscilla when he met her?
She was a teenager.
Yeah, nothing but a babe. Okay, so don't
Jay-Z
turn around
and Beyonce.
now.
Beyonce was a child compared to his
Aaliyah.
old boy.
So don't turn around now and try to put it all on black men. Most of that stuff came from you white boys. That's where the brothers got it from. Now, brothers didn't have that amount of power. Okay, as they start climbing in power, Bill Cosby and the like. Okay, then they were afforded the opportunities to take advantage of certain things like that. But you white boys created that, the casting couch, because you wouldn't even let niggas in back in the 30s, the 20s, the 40s, and whatnot. So don't blame the brothers. How come we ain't Me Tooing some of these white boys?
Some of them are in there too. Axl Rose and who else did I say? Oh, trust me, there are some white boys up in there.
I'm gonna file a claim, say somebody touched me.
Whatever. Oh, Andrew,
He rubbed my knee.
Andrew Cuomo, he white. Mm-hmm. He tried to get his freaky decon. That exactly. I mean, as a matter of fact, that's why he's not governor anymore.
Of course,
because
his brother was helping him too.
Because they both lost their jobs. He lost his because he couldn't keep his wee-wee in his pants.
Yeah,
and he was harassing people.
Cover it up.
And then his brother, who was on television,
doing the news.
Well, he didn't help cover it up, but he made some off the wall.
He covered it up. If you a news reporter, how come you ain't on here? In today's news, my brother is a pervert. Okay,
he made some comments, and so he ended up losing his job as well.
Right.
So they both are gainful. Well, they may be employed by now, but at the time they were unemployed.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we got all our tracks, so now all of my time up. Oh, good.
I'll let you know.
I'm just checking because you'd be talking about wrapping it. Dior.
Well, Bill Cosby should have wrapped it up.
And shoot, sound like they all should have. But